first aid course in my Red Cross group. So it was a 16-hour course. Yesterday 10 hours and today 10 hours. Today is Sunday the 13th of January. And I started yesterday at 9 in the morning, and it takes until 6 o'clock in the evening, and today also from 9 to 6. And so in this first aid course, I've learned a lot of things. I also got this really cool certificate that I've actually done it. And you know, the one for the driver's license, it's only 6 hours, and I've done the 16-hour one, so that's quite a bit more. Anyways, so so I've learned a lot of things, plus I got this little paper. Here you can see, oh well, it's sort of the wrong way around, but anyway, that's the other side. Yes. Okay, so I've got this paper, and I learned everything basically that's on this paper. And in extra, I've also learned how to, you know, put Band-Aid on different kinds of wounds, you know, on the head or your knee, or what to do when someone broke their leg or broke their arm, or ways to carry people around for long distances, you know, like, I'll show you later. Anyways, so it was a very helpful course, and I'll make more videos, maybe you'll see them later, for everything that I've learned there. Some things might be in this video. Anyways, so I learned a lot of things, and it was very helpful, even though it took so long, but we had lots of breaks, so it was very, very good because we didn't get bored, and there was lots of practical stuff, so we didn't have to just sit around and look at them doing stuff on the board. So yeah, and for the practical things, yeah, we also did the heart compression. I don't know how it's called in English. In German it's called Herzdruckmassage, and then Beatmung, you know, when you do the breathing in the other person's mouth, in the patient's mouth, but you have this little, I don't know, it's sort of plastic as paper, so you don't have to actually like touch their mouth with your mouth. You have this paper, well, it's not a paper, it's like this little foil thing. No, not foil. It's like a plastic. In the middle, there's like a material part, and that's where you put your mouth, and you put the other person's mouth below it, and then you're like, oh, okay. So, well, you know, it doesn't really have a face, but you know. So you put this. Let's say this is the paper, and you put it here. Just a second. Okay. So you wait here. Okay, so you have the doll, and then you're like this, and then you sort of have to hold the patient's nose and put their chin back and hold with 2 fingers and hold the patient's nose closed, because you know, if you breathe in, then the air goes out back at the nose, so you have to hold the nose closed, and you only do this if the patient doesn't breathe. Well, obviously he's not really there if he can't breathe. So anyways, so then you hold it there like that, and then you look like that, and then again, and look like that. So you breathe twice, and then, you know, for the heart thing, you're like, you have to hold your fingers like this. Wait, you have to hold your fingers like this, and then you're like 1, 2, 3, 30 times, and then again you do the breathing thing for twice, and then 30 times, and then twice, and then 30 times. And you can change with people, because usually you can only manage 5 minutes at once, or 10 minutes if you're very tough, but then you always need someone to help you. And if you can't, we learned that, yeah, you actually have to take care of yourself more than other people. So if there's something that might be bad for you, you shouldn't do it. If someone might infect you or something, you know, if there's like an open wound and there's blood and you can't be sure if the person has AIDS, you definitely shouldn't touch it if you don't have gloves. Definitely not, because then you might get AIDS and it's your fault. So you shouldn't touch the person. Anyways, well, you can touch the person, but just not the blood. And anyway, the person, you know, the infection, well, I mean, the wound, it would get infected, so that's bad too. So you'd hurt yourself and the patient. So always gloves. Gloves are very important. Anyways, so what else did we learn? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, we learned every different sort of way that you can put the person into depending on what their symptoms are. So this is on this paper. So generally, there's one position that you should always do in case you don't know which position. This position is usually always good. It's like on the side. I'll show you again. Okay, here. Just a second. So let's say this is the patient, and the patient is like this, the head. Okay. So then you take. So if the head is like this, you're not allowed to roll over the face. So in this case, you learn the patient like this. Since you shouldn't roll over his eyes or his nose or something. Always like this over the hair, I'd say. Anyways, so that he's like this, and he's and you put this arm in the direction you're rolling to. You put it in a 90 degrees angle to the rest of his body, and then you take this arm and the leg, and you put it to the knee, and then carefully you roll him over and take care of the head, of course. Wait, I'll move it a bit. You obviously don't do that to the patient. Okay, so wait, yes. And then you take this arm, you put the face down, and so that this part of his mouth, it's as close as possible to the floor, and you put the hand that you put on his knee before, you put it under his face so that there's no danger. So, and then you check again if he's breathing. So, yes, just to make sure.